அன்புடன் நமது கிராமங்களிலிருந்து ஆரோக்கியா பால்.
Welcome to episode 10 of Ramayana with Anuja. As I told you in the previous episode, battle preparations were all done and both sides were ready to get on with it and kill each other, I guess. So the troops were arrayed on either side in Lanka as well as their opponents led by Rama. And Rama was surveying the troops on either side and he caught a glimpse of Ravana, who was on the highest tower in Lanka. And the two of them had a sort of staring contest, and at that precise moment Sugriva, he just leaped up into the air and with a single bound he landed on Ravana's terrace and he snatched his golden crown, he flung it far away and he told him, see, this is just the beginning, you are going to lose. And the two of them started wrestling, and Ravana was surprised to discover how strong this Vanara whom he'd scorned as a monkey was. And since the wrestling match was inconclusive, he started resorting to sorcery. And Sugriva immediately leaped back, much to the relief of Rama, who embraced him. And Rama said, let's give him one final chance to do the right thing. He sent for Angada and asked him to act as his messenger. Now Angada went to Ravana and he spoke to him, but of course Ravana wasn't willing to do the right thing. He tried to have Angada killed, and 4 Rakshasas tried to grab on to Angada, and he leaped up in the air with these Rakshasas and he threw them to the ground where they fell to their deaths. And Rama was very angry when he saw that his offer for peace had been rebuffed. He raised his bow and the battle commenced. The fighting was furious and really intense. Initially itself, the eastern gate of Lanka was overrun by the Vanara army. It was a good start for Rama and his Vanaras. Indrajit was very upset when he saw what had happened and he took the field himself. He was a fantastic warrior and he took on Angada first. And again he was also surprised at how valiant this Vanara prince was, and Angada successfully smashed his chariot and left him without a chariot, and Indrajit had no choice but to flee from the battlefield. Again it was a blow for Lanka. The Vanaras fought using unconventional techniques which the Rakshasas had not encountered before, and initially at least they could offer very little by way of resistance. Lakshmana killed Dhoom Rakshasa, and Rama and Lakshmana, every single arrow they let loose found its mark, and the Rakshasas were in a state of disarray. The fighting went on late at night and Indrajit took the field again, and this time he was determined to make them pay for the humiliation he had suffered earlier at the hands of Angada. So he used his powers of sorcery and he made himself invisible, and using this unfair advantage he started killing the Vanaras in droves, and he knew that Rama and Lakshmana were causing the most damage. So cloaked in Maya, he approached them and he released the Nagapasha. Now this was a very deadly missile and it found its mark, and suddenly Rama and Lakshmana were held fast by millions of magical snakes, and they were enveloped in a cloak of deadly venom, a mist of deadly venom, and both of them fell unconscious to the floor. And Indrajit immediately revealed himself and he roared in triumph. He thought they died, and the Vanaras thought so as well, and they also started fleeing from the battlefield. When Ravana heard the news, he insisted that Sita be taken on the Pushpaka Vimana to witness this. And Sita saw their fallen bodies and she immediately fainted. It was a very good Rakshasi named Trijata who revived her and said, look carefully, see, they are still breathing. They've just been wounded. Don't worry, your husband is a very strong man. He will prevail. So Sita was heartened and she started praying to every god in the pantheon to spare her husband. Meanwhile, something miraculous needed to happen to revive the princess, and the Vanaras were very anxious. It was at that point that Rama came to, though he was very weak. When he saw that Lakshmana was covered in wounds and he lay comatose like that, he really freaked out and he was very upset. And Sushena was ministering to Lakshmana. He was the physician of the Vanaras, and it was at this juncture that a miraculous being emerged in front of them. It was none other than Garuda. As you know, this noble eagle was the Vahana of Vishnu, and snakes were his natural prey. So as he approached the two princes, all their wounds magically healed, and the snakes started fleeing in all directions. His power was so great that even magical snakes were scared of him and fled before his advance. Rama moved closer to him, and there was faint recognition in his eyes. Garuda, folded his hands together. He asked Rama for his blessing, and then he said, once you have accomplished what you have set out to, we will meet again. And Garuda left, and there was loud cheering from the Vanara side, and the Rakshasas knew that it was not good news for them. And when the news went as far as Ashokavana that Rama and Lakshmana had not been hurt, Sita was very, very happy, and she continued praying for their success. As the battle raged on, the Vanaras proved themselves to be formidable adversaries. Now Hanuman had killed terrifying Rakshasas like Dhoom Raksha as well as Akampana. These were important people on Ravana's side, and he had felled them effortlessly. As for Angada, he was everywhere and he covered himself in glory. And the commander-in-chief of the Vanaras was named Neela, and Neela took out Prahastya, who was the commander of Ravana. So this was again a mighty blow to the Rakshasa army. Ravana decided to take to the field himself, and he was furious when he saw how much destruction had been caused, and he charged into battle, killing Vanaras on all sides. And Hanuman wrestled with him, but even he could not stop the charge of Ravana. Even Sugriva was knocked unconscious, and finally it was Lakshmana who rose to the threat posed by Ravana. But unfortunately for him, Ravana released a Brahma Shakti, and it hit him hard in the chest, and he was wounded very, very badly. And when he fell on the battlefield, Ravana tried to place him on the chariot and take him back so that he could offer his corpse to Sita. And Hanuman and the other Vanaras would not allow it to happen. They converged on him and forced him to leave Lakshmana alone. And Hanuman lifted him up and he took him to Rama. And then a miracle happened. The wound healed itself by the grace of Rama, and Lakshmana was well again. And this time when Ravana heard this, he decided to put an end to the brothers for good, and he returned to the battlefield and he was determined to kill them. But Rama was furious over what had happened to Lakshmana, and he was ready to meet the threat posed by Ravana. And when the two of them clashed, Rama successfully smashed his chariot, killed his charioteer, and relieved him of all his weapons. Ravana was completely defenseless at that point. And then Rama very graciously, he said, I will not kill a man who's unable to defend himself. So why don't you retreat today? We will pick this up tomorrow. So again, this was, a tribute to how fair-minded this prince was. Ravana, of course, was highly insulted, deeply humiliated, and he returned in anger to Lanka, and he was brooding for a bit, and then he called his generals and he said, please go and wake up Kumbhakarna. It's time that my brother showed them what the Rakshasas can do. Now there's a little story behind why Kumbhakarna hadn't taken to the battlefield yet. The thing was, at the time of their birth itself, Kumbhakarna was by far and away the strongest being in the three worlds. Ravana won a boon of power from Shiva after intense penances, but Kumbhakarna was just born that way. He was ridiculously strong. Nobody could withstand his power. Now Kumbhakarna, when Ravana was offering penances to propitiate Brahma, Kumbhakarna also joined his brother, as did Vibhishana. So these three brothers had been performing penances, and when Brahma emerged before them, Ravana got his boon. Vibhishana asked that he always remain wedded to Dharma, that he didn't want anything else. And when it was Kumbhakarna's turn, the Devas were very nervous. They felt that he was already too powerful a threat. So they asked Goddess Saraswati to intercede on their behalf, and she placed a certain spell on his tongue. So when Brahma asked him what he wanted, Kumbhakarna said he wanted to sleep all the time. And Ravana was horrified when he heard this. He said, there's some mischief at work here. The Devas have messed with me. I'm going to make them pay. But please don't leave my brother defenseless. All his enemies will kill him if he's going to sleep all the time. So Brahma relented. He said he will be awake for just one day. One day after a 6-month duration of sleep. So this was what Ravana had to settle for. But he told Kumbhakarna, don't worry, you will achieve more when you're awake than most men do over several lifetimes. So that's okay. If you're, That's fine by me. I'm sure I can still count on you. So this was the strange circumstances surrounding Kumbhakarna, and so he had to be awakened, and it was quite dangerous to wake him up because it posed a risk to his life, but Ravana felt he had no choice. And so all the attendants, they did this huge drama trying to wake him up. They played instruments near his ear, they marched on his chest, and finally they did succeed in waking up Kumbhakarna. His appetites were legendary. So they had prepared mountains of food, there were rivers of drink, and there were also beautiful dancers to entertain him while he ate and drank, I guess. And finally he was ready to meet Ravana. He heard the sounds of battle and he knew what was expected of him. He was very philosophical about the whole thing. He told his brother, this is what Vibhishana was warning us about. So much loss suffered by our side already. But I am going to tell you the same thing I told you last time. Good or bad, right or wrong, you are my brother. I will always fight by your side and I will destroy your enemies, or at least I will die trying. And Ravana just teared up. He felt he was so fortunate to have a brother like Kumbhakarna. They say he covered him in jewels because he was very fond of ornaments and sent him off into battle. Now Kumbhakarna's weapon was a flaming trident, a monster of a weapon, and holding this in his hand he left for battle, and there's no need to elaborate on the gruesome spectacle that followed. They say he tore the Vanaras apart using everything he had, his weapons as well as his teeth, and they could not, initially at least, they could not offer any kind of resistance to this giant of a Rakshasa. He made straight for Sugriva, the king of the Vanaras, and he knocked him unconscious and carried him in his hand and placed him on his shoulder so that he could parade him on the streets of Lanka. And all the citizens started cheering and they showered petals and sandalwood paste on him. And Sugriva revived immediately, and he bit his ear, Kumbhakarna's ear, and he escaped and returned to the battlefield. So now Kumbhakarna was properly angry. He returned and he decided to kill all the Vanaras together, and Hanuman tried to fight him and hold him off, but not even Hanuman was a match for him, but he did succeed in breaking his flaming trident. And then Rama decided that enough was enough, and he used the Devastras given to him by Vishwamitra, and he hacked off his limbs and he released one final missile which carried his head all the way and landed like a mountain in Lanka where Ravana could see it. And Ravana was utterly heartbroken. He cried and cried and cried over his fallen brother. He said, I wish I died first rather than see you like this. And he was heartbroken. Immediately 4 of his sons, 4 magnificent sons of his, came in front of him. They said, don't worry, we will take care of your enemies. You have us, why do you grieve? We will avenge the death of uncle. And they went out into battle. Unfortunately for Ravana, they were all killed. Hanuman, Angada, Lakshmana, they all took care of this threat, and all his 4 of his sons were dead as well. So it was a big, massive blow for the morale of the Lankan army, and it was at that point that Indrajit came before his father. He said, don't worry, father, have I ever let you down before? By hurting my own, they've hurt me, and I will make every single one of them pay. And with these ominous words, Indrajit readied himself for battle. On this extremely suspenseful and scary note, I will take your leave. But don't worry, I won't leave you hanging for long. All you have to do is check out the next episode. But before you do that, please hit like, share and subscribe to this channel. And as always, let me know what you think of this episode in the comment section, and I will be sure to respond. Do take care and stay safe.
நலம் அன்புடன் நமது கிராமங்களிலிருந்து ஆரோக்கியா பால்